What if I were to tell you that I'm a war veteran? What if I were to tell you that I served in both Iraq and Afghanistan? What if I were to tell you that I experienced some very traumatic and very terrifying stuff? What if I were to tell you that I suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder? You see, the thing about post-traumatic stress disorder is the simple fact that when a man or woman suffers from this disorder, it's a combination of everything. It's extreme stress, it's extreme anxiety, it's everything. It makes you susceptible towards panic attacks, negative thoughts. You have symptoms of depression. Everything about living with post-traumatic stress disorder is living with a mental disorder that is almost in some cases as bad as schizophrenia to some degree. Not that bad, but it's pretty bad. Now, there's different aspects of why people might suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. You might be been the victim of sexual assault, or a victim of a robbery, or some mad gunman shootout in some, public place, school shooting, anything of that, terrorist attack, anything, that can create a very dramatic, disturbing event that, just it terrifies you. The brain has to find a way to cope, has to find a way to survive, so it splits up in two. When you have these post-traumatic stress disorder, it's always haunting you. It's almost like having maladaptive daydreaming syndrome in a way, is that because people are always susceptible towards not only fantasy, but a lot of times the fantasy will relate to what happened to them in the negative, and they'll keep repeating this over and over and over again. I suffer from a form of post-traumatic stress disorder because I was a victim of a robbery many years ago. I still suffer from some of the effects. If you ever been to a war, you ever experienced battle fatigue, and then, you have to come back, after all the shooting, the explosions, seeing the blood, dead people, then you have to come back to society where you have to adapt, where you get up in the morning, you get up, you brush your teeth, you take a shower, you go to 9 to 5 jobs, you live an ordinary life, and then people, they don't understand your situation. People figure, oh well, you were one way before you went to the war, and they expect you to be the same way. But I mean, some people can experience all the battle fatigue, all the stuff, and they can come back and they can be all fine. But then some other people, they come back and they have post-traumatic stress disorder. I thought about going to Afghanistan many years ago, but my father convinced me not to. I would have got kicked out of the army anyway, because I have psychological problems. I already got discharged from the Navy. Anyway, perfectly healthy, normal young men, young women, went to these places, Iraq, Afghanistan, perfectly normal, and they come back completely messed up. I mean, they're functional, but they're not functional. I can only imagine how a person like me would be. But then again, I have a disorder that can help me cope with this. I've always been abnormal, but these people have a reason of being abnormal. The medication that they give people with post-traumatic stress disorder, the anxiety medication, it's terrible. It makes it worse. I never understood. They never give them anything like Xanax. They never give them any other good stuff. They'll give them these shitty benzos. Why? And they end up self-medicating different things like opiates. Opiates can be good for a self-medicating for anxiety, and a lot of them get on opiates, or they're alcoholics, or basically they're just antisocial. When you constantly live in this paranoia, you always got to worry about something might happen, something might blow up, or all of a sudden machine guns might come flaring out at you. This goes. They've been fighting in these places for years, for months, going through this on a daily basis, and they got to come back, and this feeling is always with them. This mental thing, this anxiety. So it's a great deal of paranoia. This is why these people can you imagine being that paranoid? Can you imagine having that same intensity and feeling? You could not function in normal life anymore if you have this anymore. That's just a serious fact. But that's all I have to say about post-traumatic stress disorder.